Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you, as always, for your questions. Ali with me here in the studio. Jan is with us, as is Don. Jan, you're in a hotel room in Dortmund. Is that right? Is it exciting, luxury, 5-star job?
It's without stars as Dortmund today.
There's no bed, just a door. You got to sleep on the carpet, Jan. Meanwhile,
yeah,
Don has added a little bit of shrubbery, shrubbery to your background, Don. Yeah. I noticed. What inspired this?
No, I do like a little bit of greenery, but the paint and decorator's been in, so have a look at the little change of colour behind me.
Right.
I think that's quite a nice little touch. So it's getting there, the garage. It's looking pretty good.
It's nice, kind of the vine over your left shoulder as well. Bit of creeper.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, well, see, he's got vine, fern, and then a tropical palm tree.
Yeah, I like it. Now, before we get to the tweets, there's a question I wanted to ask you guys off the back of what Luis Saurez was saying. Sid was talking to him after the game, where, of course, he scored that goal just before the break, and Sid said to him, it looked like you were enjoying the fact, kind of picking your spot. And he said, well, I know Ter Stegen, I know Piqué, I've played with them for so long. It was nice to be in that situation. I'm just wondering, Jan, from a striker's point of view, does there come a time where you play against someone so much that you kind of know their attributes?
Don Hutchison knows Simon Tracy, a big fat goalkeeper for Sheffield United, and I played against him. I went to Barnsley and I played them a month after, and I met him in the tunnel. And the fatty said to me, "Jan, I know all about your chips. You know your chips."
Yeah.
And I said to him, Simon, the only chips you know about is all the chips you're eating. And we after 20 minutes, I came 1-against-1 and I chipped him 1-0 Barnsley against Sheffield United. So yes, absolutely.
Where is he now?
He's a good
Not
guy.
in a hotel room in Dortmund.
Now he's slim now. He's running around in Sheffield. Simon, good lad.
I love that question. I love that question from Sid when he said to sort of Luis Suarez, how you feeling?
Yeah.
And the word that comes to mind was smug.
Yes.
I was just thinking smug.
Yeah. Dom, you played up against a lot of your old teammates. Did you know what they were going to do? Did it help you?
Yeah, of course it does. You do your research and you play against players who you've played against a million times before, so you know their weaknesses, you know their tricks, you know which side they're likely to go on if they're going to try and take a shot to right footer. You know, it's obviously you're going to favour their little trick where you try and show them onto the left side where they might be a little bit weaker. But I think it's more so, I think, for goalkeepers and centre forwards when they come up against each other quite a lot.
Yeah.
If a goalkeeper's come up against Jan a few times, he might know what his favourite technique is and vice versa.
Let's try and get through the rest of Extra Time without body shaming people, shall we? Ali, will Barca qualify for the Champions League next season with or without Koeman as the manager?
They will qualify for Champions League next year.
Ooh.
You're not a believer?
Well, what have we got? Real Madrid, Atleti. Guaranteed. Sevilla looking good this season.
Yeah, Sevilla, Valencia, and then after that it's a little bit of a drop-off.
Only four spots.
Well, I know. So I think Valencia may not hang in there for the length of the season. Sevilla will. Villarreal may be another team that could challenge.
Yeah.
I don't think they are consistent enough, and that'll be the problem for those teams. Barcelona will do just enough. It's not going to be a banner season for Barcelona. We know that, but enough to get into the top 4.
Here we go. Let's trigger Jan Aage Fjortoft by asking Don this question.
Okay, here we go.
Don, what's the percentage of Ole being United manager at the end of the season?
That is good. That is good. The percentage chance of Ole being the manager at the end of the season, I'm going to say 70% in his favour.
Wow, that's quite high.
Wow.
High.
Very high.
It might be a change in the summer.
Right, okay. But you think he'll see it through? 70%? Higher or lower, Jan?
I will go a bit lower.
Against your boy.
Controversy.
Oh, knife in the back.
I wanted to say 50-50, but then he raised the stake, didn't he, Don? So I have to go to 60-40 because I think that it's not about what Manchester United. If you ask me what Manchester United want to do, they will try to stick with him the rest of the season. But you know, with everything around him, there is a chance that at some point it won't they won't happen more. And you see with Old Trafford, maybe the fans will turn around and everything. So, and you won't do that to a legend, would you? And so there will be a time when you say, well, maybe it's time to go home now, Ole. So I would say 60% that he will stay for the rest of the season and 40% that he will be fired. Are there any percentage left then, Don?
No, I think that's it. You covered it.
No, that's it. Look, Don's percentages. He's all over it these days. What would Ali's reaction be if the goal was cancelled through VAR like Werner's was, of course, in the first half?
Well, see, much like Timo Werner, and the reason I like this guy so much is much like Timo Werner, there were points in my career in which I was the non-goal scoring forward.
Right.
And I was missing tap-ins like Timo Werner. And so
if VAR had cancelled it out, how would that have...
well, again, for a player that needs a goal, that desperate for a goal, that would have been heartbreaking. But you saw on Timo Werner a positive reaction. And yes, it was a tap-in. And yes, it's a goal that he should be scoring. But guess what? He hasn't been scoring those goals. So therefore, you feel good for Timo Werner. It's a good thing for him, a good thing for Chelsea.
Meanwhile... Let's bring this up again, shall we? Remember when Rafa Benitez was hired as the Everton coach?
Yes.
Don said it was a terrible appointment.
Yes, terrible, he said.
He said it would all end in tears. Shocking decision from the Everton board. Nedum's Horse tweets, Don, do you see Everton securing a top 6 place this season under Rafa Benitez? Is Andros Townsend the man who can help achieve a European spot for next season? Took his goal well today, didn't he, Don?
Took his goal well, and I did predict that he would be a fantastic signing because I've watched him a lot over at Crystal Palace, and I'm amazed that Patrick Vieira. No. I'm amazed that Patrick Vieira didn't go to Andros Townsend and lean on him because he's experienced. Because what he is, Dan, he's a type of player that will sacrifice himself for the team, and the way he started has been sensational. He believes himself a lot more. He's had a terrific start to the season. He's playing a lot further forward. I think he's been a brilliant signing.
What about Rafa
Benitez? Top 6, Don?
Say it again.
Top six. It's going to be between 6th and 7th, I think.
Wow.
So it's on.
That's not ending in tears, is it? That's not ending in tears.
That's not where Everton want to be, but I mean, that would be a great
It's an improvement. It's a stepping stone. You said they'd get relegated if they hired Benitez.
I did not say they'd get relegated, Daniel.
You said, what's the one book on your shelf there, Don, by the way?
I've got loads.
I can only see one.
There's loads there. I've got a Howard Kendall, which will never go down.
No, but we can't see that. No, the one over your left shoulder by the book.
Yeah.
That one. There, that one.
Let's keep another trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Italian Job. Gab Marcotti.
Sell out.
Never been opened. Never been opened. That's it.
It's on its own. I mean, there's loads up there.
Yeah, we can't see any of those, Don.
Well, I'll drop... I mean, do you want me to move something so you can see it?
No, I'm just saying that we
you don't. There are no books in the jungle, so that's okay.
Let me just take a moment to bring this little beauty into shot.
Well, we didn't ask about that. Yes.
Well, that's the Craig Burley.
Is that when you scored against England? Milking that.
That's the team.
Milking
that's
that.
The team at Hampden.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Where's Burley? Where's Burley?
Right, well, we don't need to see him. He's off. Right, next question.
Where is he?
Did you ever give away a penalty and score in the same match? Ali? Chilwell, of course, doing that today.
No, I don't think so.
No?
I wasn't back there defending all that often, so no.
Jan?
There's a lot of things I've done in my life, but I've never got a red card or never give away on a penalty, in fact.
Wow. What about Don Hutchison?
No, but a funny story. When I played for Sunderland at Goodison Park on the last day of the season, and Peter Reid had organised a trip for the players to go to Magaluf, and I had tonsillitis. Jan's laughing because Peter Reid's a disciple of Howard Kendall, so he knows exactly what's coming.
I love man.
So Peter Reid organised a trip to Magaluf at the end of the season, and we would go in straight after the Everton game. But unfortunately, I got ill and got tonsillitis, so I couldn't train all week. And the lads really thought I was throwing one in not to go to Magaluf. So on the day of the game, I got, I say a chauffeur, I use that very loosely, from Sunderland to Everton, and Peter Reid assured me if I made the effort to travel, he wouldn't start me because I wasn't fit enough to start. He would put me on the bench. So I agreed with that. Unfortunately, 2 or 3 players got injured. I had to go on. I then scored an own goal and got a standing ovation from the whole of Goodison Park, just so I could fly to Magaluf the next morning.
Oh, nice. Was it a good week?
Was it worth it?
Was it? Yeah, exactly. Was it good? How was Magaluf?
Well, it was brilliant until 2 days in when Andy Gray turned up. Peter Reid was obviously there and all of his coaching staff. And they were all giggling and smiling at the bar. And I knew something was up. So they called me over and I walked over and Peter Reid said to me, you've got 2 options. You can either have a 2-week wages bill for getting sent off, 2-week wages fine for getting sent off.
Right.
Which was 40 grand.
Bloody heck, Don.
Or
money.
What's the other option?
Or the other option is you pick up the tab for the whole of this drinking day for the managers, for the staff, and all of the players.
Wow, you got to take the latter one, definitely, Don, yeah?
Yeah. So you know what I was like with my mathematics? I was trying to work out 40 grand. I was trying to think, what's going to cost me the least amount of money?
Wow. And
so
how big was the tab in the end, Don?
9,000.
Oh, not too bad.
Oh,
Now, you
good
have to
choice.
enlighten me.
Well, I mean, not too bad. I mean, I travelled to Everton to play unwell. I mean,
Don.
I'd like to think I was doing the club a
this
favour.
Don, you're on 20 grand a week. No one wants to listen to any excuse that you've got going forward, to be honest, mate. There you go.
That's true.
Enlighten me. What is this?
Magaluf?
Yes.
Magaluf is an interesting destination.
Now, I can tell you, Ali. Magaluf, Isle of Man, these are the places that English football managers used to take their players.
Yeah.
Getting totally drunk, drunk.
Yes.
Probably go home and play a game, lose 5-0, and afterwards they were talking about how did they mark on corners. Nobody's speaking about Magaluf. It was all about myself and Don Hutchison before the playoff final. A game worth $1 billion, euros, everything. We went to Isle of Man. I asked the manager, can I bring something to train in 6 days before the game? And he said, F off.
Wow.
I mean, I had to go, and it's terrible. That is the book of Howard Kendall, our love, and he's, be in peace, my friend Howard Kendall.
Yeah, Magaluf.
Dan, how would you
where is it like
explain
people go
Magaluf
spring
to
break?
Ali?
Like where did
like Panama City.
like those sort of plays, just carnage. Absolutely
Sin
nothing
City.
good.
Sin
Nothing
City.
good happens in Magaluf.
Okay. All right. So hold on a second. So did you go to Magaluf?
No, I went to Ibiza, which is a little classier.
Yeah.
A little classier, I would suggest. Sid Lowe is just back from Magaluf now. He went there quickly post Atleti in Barcelona. Sid, what conversation have you wandered into here?
Well, I was just trying to work out at which point all of Don's teammates said, yeah, I'll have the very, very, very expensive champagne, please.
Yeah.
No more beer. If he's paying, where's the champagne? I mean, honestly, 9 grand, you got away with it really quite lightly there. Which, by the way, it tells our viewers something. It tells our viewers something because these days, footballers will go to Dubai. And you're not getting a day's drinking for 40 grand in Dubai. Now, in Magaluf, where it's not only carnage, but it's also incredibly cheap.
Yes.
You can just about get away with
Yeah,
it.
and definitely none of it is brand. All of
it's not a
all of
classy
it is
place.
watered
It
down.
really isn't.
So are you saying this is the sort of place that I would not thrive in?
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
I loved it.
Oh, it's brilliant. Anyway, let's talk about soccer.
What?
Sid, you've just spoken to both managers
Do we have
after. You've just spoken to both managers after the Atleti win over Barca. You got to start with Ronald Koeman. How was he after Magaluf?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, he probably should go, shouldn't he? I mean, you should try and cheer himself up a little bit. I'm going to be honest, we didn't speak to Koeman. We spoke to Martin Einstein, spoke to Diego Simeone. We have listened to Koeman, though, because he's done the press conference. He was very down, as you might expect. He'd said before the game, by the way, he'd been asked in the press conference, how are you? And he said, to be honest with you, I've been better. I suspect tonight he's even worse after that. He's quite down. He is quite down, to be fair. And why wouldn't he be? I mean, look, he said himself yesterday in the press conference, and I think he's absolutely right. He was asked what he thought about his relationship with the president. He said, I don't want to talk about that. He was asked whether he knew what was happening. He said, well, no one's told me anything. But look, I've got eyes and I've got ears. And you hear things and you see things. And he knows, to be perfectly honest. And I hate saying this because it sounds cruel, but it's the reality of the situation. He knows that he's still in the job because they haven't yet found an alternative, because they can't yet find a way of making this happen. Joan Laporta said, we were talking about this pre-game, that, nothing would change after tonight's result. Essentially, that was true. And it was true, of course, because Koeman is already in a position that's unsustainable. The question mark now is just, when does it end? And it feels like after tonight's game, and in particular with it being Suarez scoring, that end is even more imminent than it ever was before. And of course, we've got an international break now, which in theory at least should make it slightly easier for Barcelona to finally get this sorted out.
Meanwhile, as you mentioned, Martin Einstein spoke to Simeone, who I imagine is right at the other end of the spectrum after that result today, Sid.
Simeone, and you'll hear this when you see the video of his interview with Martin, Simeone could barely talk. His voice was going, he'd been shouting all night long. He was talking about the emotional side of things, the way that the fans responded, because as we were saying before the game, this is the first time that Spanish clubs have been allowed 100% capacity in the stadium. This place was very, very nearly full, really noisy, really exciting, really enjoyable, and Simeone clearly enjoyed it as well. And as he's put it, the team responded, because this is a team that's really struggled this year. It's a team that's got into a very bad habit of going down in the first half. Yes, they've tended to turn those games around, but it wouldn't always happen. Last weekend, they were beaten away at Alaves. They needed a performance like this, and I thought, certainly in the first half on the left-hand side, when Lemar and João Felix and Suarez combined, which they did 3 or 4 times, they were just too much for Barcelona.
Brilliant, Sid. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Let's just get back to a couple of tweets to finish things off. Don, how concerning is Pulisic's injury record with Chelsea, and how concerning is that for his future?
Yeah, if I was Ronald Koeman, by the way, I'd take that Barcelona squad straight to Magaluf.
Yes.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
It is concerning because he is a bit fragile, isn't he, Christian Pulisic? He has been for a number of years. Yeah, he's just a fragile character. So you want these sort of players that, we were talking about Timo Werner before and how likeable he is. I think Christian Pulisic's exactly the same, and he's got the ability to be absolutely world-class. But if you're not fit, you ain't going to be talked about as world-class. So he needs to look after his body a little bit more, I think, and probably need a little bit of luck as well. Final question, Ali. Who's going to win El Trafico tomorrow?
Both of these teams at times have been very, very average this season. I'll take the LA Galaxy. LAFC just seems to take 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So, yeah, LA Galaxy.
LA Galaxy, that's
sure,
it.
Why not?
Jan, you go to bed now. Where are you travelling to tomorrow?
I'm traveling home.
Hey.
I can't believe it. I have to warn my wife. I mean, probably I'm now, after talking to Don, I probably go to Isle of Man together with Don or Magaluf.
Like, you've got to compare Isle of Man to Magaluf, Jan. They're completely different places.
It wasn't far off, Dan. Dan, it wasn't far off, mate, honestly.
I wasn't far on. I will tell you that trip, going to Isle of Man, that is the most unbelievable trip I've been to in my life. With Howard Kendall at his best.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you very much, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.